what's this podcast called again?
Fuck. Out of spec. Fuck.
Yeah, there you go. You are listening to Within Tolerance, a podcast for Machinist by Machinist. I'm your host, Dylan Jackson of Proteum Machining, and with me, as always, my co-host, Chris Zapatini. What is going on, Zap?
Not a lot, baby. I'm in Hanover, PA, just for today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just for today. I was in Maryland for like the last, kind of 2 weeks. I went to Florida last weekend just for fun, but it wasn't. It was like, that was really intense, way too intense.
But yeah, you drove, which I was shocked that you did that.
I drove like 2,000 miles in the weekend because, as you do, it's like, I need a little break. Let me fucking grind myself into dust real quick. I feel so not refreshed.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. But, so we're recording for the first time in a month. I'm just finishing up paternity leave. Monday's my first day back. Yeah. This will come out that Friday. So we'll have worked that entire week by the time people listen to this. Give us the update, man. What's been going on? I think we had somebody ask, just how you've been doing.
I mean, ups and downs. Like when we recorded, in Cleveland, that was, I think the very next day is when my fucking wheel blew up or something. That was pretty sick. Like, just destroyed the shit out of my wheel. The best part is, like, I drove to Toledo. They're like, yeah, we think we're going to, like, use you. We're talking to somebody else that doesn't know what we're doing, that doesn't know this as well, whatever. It's like, okay, cool. And then on the way back, my fucking tire, or I hit the semi U-joint in a glancing blow. That just destroyed my tire and wheel. Shot across the lane as somebody else hit it. I didn't end up getting that job, which was really annoying.
No.
Yeah. So then had to and I was like 108 miles away from Justin. So towed it that far is like $700. And the guy was like, it's going to be expensive. And it's like, well, yeah. So fucking put it on the truck.
Right. You're like, what choice do I have?
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just start walking. Let me just leave it here. I don't know. Yeah, so weird. And then I flew from there to Boise. Yeah, yes, because that was the week that we were moving the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we kind of we had to move out of the shop like really, really fast. In like 2.5 days, 3 days or something like that. Because of just like a little bit of somebody getting a little too anxious with quitting and causing it's like, well, okay, well, if you're gone, then you need to have everything out of here by Friday. And I was like, it's Wednesday. So, I was in Cleveland. That was a lot of anxiety. I call Michael Morton. I'm like, hey, I'm going to Venmo you some money to get a U-Haul and we just start packing the shop like right now. And he's like, okay. And so that's what we did, just started packing that's what they did, started packing the shop. And then I flew in the next day and was there for like the machine move and some of the other bullshit, like the last little bits of odds and ends. And then spent the rest of the weekend, we were just organizing the shop. That was a month ago. We still don't have the machines running because of it was like just a bunch of dumb shit with like zoning and the certificate of occupancy because we're underpowered. Like we have half the power in the unit that we're supposed to have currently. So we have 4,000 square feet and 100 amps of 3-phase power. And it was
not enough.
Yeah. And because it's 2 units essentially, it's 50 amps split to 2 panels. So it's not like we could even run a machine. We couldn't run anything. And like, so it's like, okay, well, the building owner's on the hook to upgrade the power. They said they would, to get it back beyond what it's supposed to be. So we're going to end up with like 400 amps of 3-phase, which is much better. And that's cool. But as we go to get our certificate of occupancy, they're like, oh, you're zoned to retail. So no. And that was a fucking nightmare in and of itself because it's like the Boise, or Idaho Power won't upgrade the power if we don't have a certificate of occupancy. So had to go through that rigmarole. Luckily, like the real estate agent for the building was just kind of dealing with that. Good. We went through the whole fucking month, like month number 1.
Yep.
$0 produced out of that shop. It's just all money out, and like contractually they were obligated to have all this shit taken care of beforehand. The zoning thing is the most egregious thing because it wasn't disclosed to us that it was zoned retail. It was light industrial.
Right.
But only our unit. The rest of the fucking strip, it was what is light industrial, but only our unit was fucking zoned retail.
So somebody like rezoned it for retail at some point.
For whatever reason. It does not make any fucking sense. And so that's a bummer. Yesterday, Friday, we got our certificate of occupancy though. So that's good. Monday, Idaho Power should be out to upgrade everything. And so hopefully by the end of the week, we have machines powered. Should be maybe installed, reinstalled or whatever. But
are you going back to Boise after this?
No, I'm flying here directly to Reno. I'm driving. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm going to fucking drive to Boston tonight.
Right.
Well, my plans tonight are have dinner with Dan Rudolph, then go back to Boston. And then fly out to Reno tomorrow because I left my car there. I was at Send Cut Send for like the first week that they had machines or whatever. They didn't cut while I was there. They just cut like this week. So that's cool. And then I'll head back there for like a day or whatever just to check on stuff and then do some Town Cutler shit. And that's good. Then California, Oregon, then back to Boise. Yeah. That's
so much fun.
Yeah. And then I'll just be in Boise for like the weekend and then I'll be gone again. Still in Idaho, but just northern Idaho.
Okay.
But yeah, just a lot of fucking traveling. Really it was, Boise and then Reno and then, I went Reno straight to Maryland. Yeah.
Wow.
And this week was cool. These last 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks in Maryland, which is nice, a little more stable. And just on the fucking LF-160, the Metzer LF-160, which is like, fuck, dude, that machine is so good.
Yeah.
It's my first time like programming and running a machine that's a linear motor machine, and wow. It's so fast. It's so fast and so accurate. We were doing I think the part is technically like a switch or whatever, but it's an RF part. And like just it just has the same tolerances as like the waveguide stuff we were doing in California. And I'm like, they're like, we're gonna put this on the robo drill. And I'm like, no, we're fucking not going to put this on the robo drill.
Why? Yeah.
I was like, no, we're doing this on the LF. And he's like, and then part of the reason I was there was to like get one of the programmers up to speed. Well, technically to get 2 of the programmers up to speed, but I'm handling them one at a time, more or less. It's just easier. It's easier. Well, one of them's kind of obstinate and the other one is more accepting and like doing some like really bootleg container method bullshit in Adventure Cam, which is like, it works. It's not like nearly as clean as Fusion, but they're like fully ITAR. So there's just like no getting around it. And yeah, so like he like initially is interesting because like back in October he was like, I've been fucking using Mastercam for 24 years. Fuck this. I'm gonna quit. Whatever. But then seeing like the bootleg container stuff and like essentially just switching, like you create an assembly with a part and then pack and go that part or the assembly and then delete the part out of the file. So when you go like and then create that and like you just drag it in and then when you go to open the template again or the assembly file, it's missing the part. So you have to like go find it and reselect it, and then it puts it in the right spot, more or less. If it was like drawn, they mostly mostly draw shit the same. So like it'll find the planes correctly and place it in the right spot. Sometimes it like mostly they're like center top is how they fucking program. So it like you drag it in and it fucking works. Sometimes it's like on the corner and you just have to like do some math or whatever. It's pretty good. And like I got one to work where it like patterns the parts because they do a lot of like parts in what they call a bar. Mm-hmm. And so like it will recognize the part and the pattern when it gets taken out. So like you drag it in or like you don't drag it in, you select it and then it just patterns it, which was like, that was cool. He fucking really liked that. Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like just adding parameters and stuff so that you just like go to the one area and like it spaces them appropriately and does whatever else. That's pretty cool. I mean, like it's not Fusion, but it's pretty close. It's a little bit like, it's nice to see he like fully accepted it after like working with him for like 2 weeks basically. And getting that like pretty complicated part like done from what we can tell. I mean, because they actually can't measure it currently. Like they have a CMM, but they don't know how to use it.
Right.
And so like we are just checking with like pins and stuff, which is like it's slots. So like technically it's like that's just it fits. That's probably
and that's why your correct. Contracts push QC on the customer.
Oh right, yeah, exactly. and like it's just so crazy, like how fucking dead nuts that machine cuts. Like,
yeah, I bet.
Control. Like,
how is theirs spec'd? I assume it's the BT30, so they can share tools with the Robo.
No.
Oh, it's the HSK one.
It is the HSK.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's HSK 40E.
And then how many pallets? Cool. Is it 40 something?
42. Yeah. 42 pallets, 46,000 RPM, and 330 tools. In like
wild.
Basically the size, like the whole footprint is like a fucking VF3 basically. It's fucking
they're tiny.
So small.
Yeah.
It's so small, it's like so fast, so accurate. Like we fucked up like and did it's like a 16th end mill at like 40K and like 172 inches a minute. And it like nailed it. We were like, oh, that seems really fast. And we were off like it was really fast, and like the fucking thing was sticking out like 3/8 of an inch, like half an inch. Yeah, I mean, like we were off. I mean, it definitely deflected, but like which is like out of spec. It's like, oh, well, we'll slow it down, and then it just like nailed it. It was fucking cool.
That's really insane.
Cool. Yeah, it's a cool fucking. I'm just like super jacked, and then. Just like by happenstance, one of the Selway guys, he didn't know I was working on that machine. He called me about like an MX330 process improvement project. And he's like, well, what are you doing? And it's like, well, I'm in Maryland on an LF160. He's like, oh, cool. I'm also trying to sell these guys an LF160. So when you talk to him, tell him about it. And it's like, yeah, no problem. And that's why I'm going to Oregon for that fucking thing. Because they have like 8 MX330s all running the same part. And they have they got like a 3-year contract or something, and which from their customer that's like, yeah, however many parts you can make in 3 years, we will buy. So it's like, okay, yeah,
that's insane.
That's a cool deal.
Yeah, really I mean, linear motors is perfect for that then too.
Yeah,
and internal automation and all that. That's killer.
Yeah, it's fucking slow. It's like very slow. Like Andrew Henry was talking about that on the Lean Built podcast. Yeah. And it is like waiting for it to come to you. You're like, good God, I could watch fucking grass grow right now. And it'd be more entertaining and faster than this. But it's like, it's like fine. Cause like the biggest thing like for them with the Haverly is you can't fucking put it in the wrong place, you know? Like cause with the Haverly, if there's an empty spot, you can just like put a pallet there, you know, or a vise there. But that spot could be in the machine. And then it would just like come out and just like fucking take the vise and like ram it into the vise.
Right.
And then it crashes, you know?
Yeah, it's like a tool changer. Like you're not just like willy-nilly throwing them into pockets.
Yeah, exactly. And the tool changer, like, I mean, for better or for worse, like, I mean, I think it's pretty intuitive. The Matsuura does a really good job with their overlay on making it like very intuitive on like, it's like, oh, do this. You're like, I want to do that. And you just like click it. And then like a little thing at the bottom is like, push this button, then push this button, go to this mode, and then push start. And you're like, oh, sick. Okay. Easy peasy. Yeah, it's good. I'm like pumped about that. That was fun. Then I'll go back there. They got me for like 6 weeks total. But broken up into like chunks. So like two, sick. We'll do 2. We did these 2, then I'll be gone for 3, then back for 2, then gone for a little bit, and then back for 2, and then that's it.
Smart.
It's nice.
For all of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like we can kind of like ebb and flow and like figure out what we want to do. Cause like,
I mean that, and like you get antsy. I sitting in any place for any long period of time.
There's 2 things that fucking get me all fired up is like sitting around for too long and not doing shit, you know?
Right.
Like, which is like, I don't know.
You're like an employer's dream of like, this guy will not just sit on the clock and make
it's like,
nothing.
Please, for the love of God, just like give me something to do.
Right.
That's like one of,
or let you go. Like one or the other.
Yeah. It's like, if you have nothing for me to do, like I can go do something else. I have a lot of stuff to do. Please just let me go and do the thing.
Yeah. And now you have a home base too. So it's like, just let me go home and program from home and be in my apartment.
Yeah. That's been like, I'm about to enter week 4 of being on the road, you know? And I'm like, man, I am fucking spinning. You know, like fuck, dude, I'm like getting so anxious. And like part of it is, part of it is just like, oh man, I haven't touched home base in a long time. Another thing that happened, I got a tooth pulled out of my head.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah. That has been a game changer for you from what you said.
Huge game changer. Like it had just like such a profound effect on my mood. Like I didn't realize, I mean like, and the other one, I still have another one that's fucking me up, you know? And like, I'm going to have to get that one taken care of at some point, but it's like close to my sinuses. So it's like a little more involved than just like fucking grabbing pliers and ripping it out. But the other one was like really hurting me. And like, it would be like fine throughout the day, but I'd end up in these like I'd wake up at like 3 a.m. to this thing just like fucking aching. And when I was in Reno, I was like, I'm going to go to the dentist. And I went to like an emergency dentist. Phil found me an emergency dentist and was like, yeah, check these guys out. So I went there and they're like, yeah, this shit's fucked up. It's like, it's still technically savable. It's like, dog, I can like fucking wiggle this thing with my hands, like with my fingers, like not like a lot, but like enough that it's like more than you should.
Right.
And it was like they're like, well, you know, we're going to give you some amoxicillin. It was infected. And I was like, they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, get it out of me. Like, just, I was like, I'm going on the road. I don't want to fucking get a root canal. Like, just get it out of here. And it was like, which is like from what I can understand, like from talking to people that have had root canals, it's like, if I had the option to just get the tooth fucking pulled, I would have done that. Cause it was like $140 after with like insurance and stuff.
Oh man. And how frustrating was that to wait on it for so long only to find out that like $140 later you felt like a different person?
Dude, yes, absolutely. And it's like, yeah, I have insurance, might as well use it. And because I guess waiting on it worked out because it was so fucking like, he was like, oh man, the infection really loosened it up. It took longer for me to get it took longer for me to get numb than it did for them to pull it out. Cause he's like, I was like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I got some tools to like loosen it. And then, you know, we just got to like, it's like, you're just going to yank it out with pliers. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. And yeah, that's what they did. I mean, they just fucking yoinked that thing out. They like used some bar and he's like, oh, it's pretty loose. Give me the forceps or like the cow horn forceps or whatever. It's fucking, because I texted you, I was like, oh, I'm about to get my tooth pulled. And then like 10 minutes later, done.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, are you like, you know, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I'm done. I'm good. I was like, oh, okay.
It's like, oh, you did a really good job. That's how I kind of, one of the ways they're like, you have pretty high pain tolerance. It's like, yeah, I guess. Because they're like, how is your pain level like with these things? And it's like, I don't know, like a 1 or a 2, and they're like, huh, interesting. Like, oh, okay, that's a response.
Yeah, you're like, no, it wasn't. Not for a normal person.
Yeah.
Well, and you were like immediately the next day, I think, texted me and you're like, I am a different person.
Dude, I have like a lot more energy. Like, it was really sapping my fucking will to live. I just didn't even think, like, I just didn't think about it.
Well, and you were getting, I told you after, I was like, I was a little worried because you were getting so fired up about everyone so quickly.
And everything. Yeah.
Like the smallest thing, you'd be like, fuck this person, never talking to him again. And then you're like, that tooth was really messing me up.
Yeah. I was talking to like Phil, and he's like, you're much more pleasant to talk to. It's like, yeah. It's like, I feel fucking great. And now, like, I'm like, oh, I really gotta fucking take care of the other one, because then I'll be like really good. Well, I don't know about really good, but better. That'll be the business. And that kind of takes me to, I guess I could just wrap today. I'm on my, I was like, well, I'm going back to Boston. My flight's tomorrow. I have my customer here in Hanover that we were like working on like a project that's been like kind of slow. I've been slow. And I was like, hey, you want to work? Are you working Saturday? And he's like, I can. Are you coming by? And it's like, yeah. And he's like, cool, we'll work 5 to 10. It's like,
oh, lovely.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. And that's why like I drove up here and I stayed the night at a hotel here, and like woke up crazy early for me, like because I mean I still can't get to sleep before like midnight,
right?
So I just sleep for like 4 hours and crush energy drinks and coffee and whatever else. He was like, you've had like 3 energy drinks, a coffee, and like chocolate milk. And I was like, all right, it was a fucking protein shake.
Relax. Yeah, mind your business, dude.
Yeah.
Do you want work done?
Yeah.
This is how the work is made.
Calm down. Yeah, and we got a decent amount done. So that was cool. And then, like, I was like, oh, and they're retainer customers. So it's like, eat up some hours. Get some shit going. Yeah, get the ball rolling on this thing, because they're crazy slow, I guess. But
this was the place you stopped at when you were with the Amish people too, right?
No, this is a different company.
Oh wow, you have a lot in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I have a couple. Yeah.
So didn't you say that you like selected the wrong township last time, and then you were like, well, I'm already out this way, I might as well go to a customer.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, this is those guys. Yeah.
Okay.
So like when I'm staying in the hotel that I accidentally picked, and I was like, well, I'm here, so I'll stop by. And then I went to the I have two or three customers in Pennsylvania, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple in Maryland. Formerly in New Jersey.
Never again.
Yeah, never again. Never again fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
And that brings me to right here, right now, more or less. And you had a pretty small update, right? I mean, like physically small update.
Yeah. Nothing's really happened for the last month.
You're just like hanging out. You just decided to take like a month off.
Yeah, I was just burnt out, I felt like I needed less sleep, so just went and had a kid,
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. So from the Patreon, John at the shop asked, did I get my jobs done in time? How's Hypermill going? Baby stuff. When can I expect the next Hermla? All that stuff. So yeah, last time we spoke, you were in Cleveland. I had all that work to get done. I worked as much as I possibly could until Molly, who's the name of my daughter, was born. But I worked right up until I needed to leave pretty much. Got most of the jobs done. For the first time ever, I actually had to send work back to a customer because I did all the programming, and it was like, I think it was Friday night that we recorded. And I did some more work on it before I left after we recorded, and then did the math. And I don't know, was it Friday? No, it was like Wednesday. And then Hermla was coming out to inspect the spindle and did all the math and stuff. And I was like, okay, so it was like 50 or 60 hours worth of machining to do between Thursday and Sunday at midnight. Like basically Monday was my cutoff to start break or to start leave. That's not a break at all. To start leave. And I just like did the math and I was like, there's just no way, especially with the downtime. And then Hermla came out and, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we think you need a new spindle. I was like, okay, then I definitely can't take this job. And thankfully my customer was really gracious about it. I finished the other parts in that order because they were already running and weren't nearly as time intensive. But yeah, they were very nice. I was like, listen, like you can either redesign it so that Brad can run it in like a 3-axis, or, you know, I can run less of them, or you can just take it back and rehome it. And they took that option, thankfully.
Nice. So, cool.
Yeah, got those done. Molly was born.
That's short for molybdenum, right?
Yeah, Molly D. Yeah, so that's been kind of my last month, is just learning to be a dad. And I was just talking to somebody else who's going to have a kid soon today, and it's been amazing and the hardest thing I've ever done in my life by far. Yeah. Like I thought I talked a big game. Oh, I'm going to be fine with the sleep stuff. Like, you know, I get by on 2 or 3 hours, no problem. What I did not realize about myself is I'm really good at lack of sleep. I'm not good at broken sleep. Right. And that's been the big real, like, you know, she's waking me up between every 45 minutes and 3 hours. And so like sometimes I get a nice little block of sleep, and then sometimes she shits through her diaper and then eats and then shits through her diaper. And it's like, it's been 4 hours. Can you just like go to bed so I can sleep a little bit?
Quit shitting so much. You should retell Justin's joke.
Remind me, I don't remember.
Everyone's a hero and aluminum joke.
Oh yeah.
That's so good.
So that whole joke came out is that I was on the phone with Justin maybe a week into it. Like we had been home 3 days or something like that. Yeah. And Justin and I were catching up, and I was in the middle of changing Molly, and, you know, pulled her diaper out. And she does this all the time now. It's like kind of the joke between my wife and I is that like she seems to just, I know it's not intentional, but she seems to wait until like the most inopportune times.
Yeah.
So I you know, pulled the diaper off, put the new one under, started wiping her down, and then she just projectile shits all over the wall, all over like everything on that side of the changing table. It was insane. And Justin just hears me go, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and then his joke was, I can't remember how he phrased it. You would remember better. My brain's a little addled.
Yeah. It's like you're just dealing with solid shit. You were just dealing with solid shit. It's like everyone's a hero in aluminum. You haven't dealt with something harder.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And so it has been wild. It has been so gratifying. I think that the thing that neither Katie or I knew or had really thought about is like newborn phase is like all high highs or low lows. Like there's no medium ground. It's either like she's super cute and napping on you and like making little cooing sounds and stuff, and you're just like absolutely in love, or full blown screaming in your face, shitting on everything, and just like the worst time ever. And there is no like, oh, this is just normal yet. It is just like the highest highs and the lowest lows, and like both Katie and I have been so emotionally raw from it. Like I have broken down more times in the last 3 weeks than I have probably my entire adult life.
Oh wow. Like crying or like
just like full on, just like, because like you vacillate between I hate this and I can't believe I made this decision that is permanent, and just to be like completely real, because like it's I feel like a lot of guilt feeling that way of like, I hate this. I hate being a dad now. Yeah. And then literally 20 minutes later, she'll be asleep and, you know, just making funny faces and smiling and stuff. And you're like, oh, I love this. And I would never trade this for anything.
Oh, so like, should we start working on number 2 or what's the deal?
No, so many people have asked that, and both Katie and I look at each other like, are you crazy? No, like, I'm sure by the time we forget all of this stage, maybe, but man, we're still in it. Like she's still at the stage where she doesn't want to sleep in her bassinet at all. She wants to sleep on one of us.
Oh, interesting.
And so like, you know, many people asked about sleep. Like John asked about sleep. Let's see, Brian Millman, Avery McCall, Atomic Precision, all asked about how I'm sleeping. Not much. Like I got 4.5 hours yesterday, and I feel like $1 million. I feel amazing.
Yeah.
I've gotten as little as like 1.5 or 2, and those were like broken up over 45 minutes to an hour increments.
Right.
And felt legitimately insane before. Like but I Katie and I have both woken up mid like REM cycle and started having conversations with each other that is just pure nonsense, like half dream state.
Yeah.
I woke up one time and started talking about Molly being in a castle, and Katie was like, "What in the fuck are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, those." I'm sorry, it makes no sense. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. When we were fucking living in Scotland, dude.
Right. Just absolute nonsense, questions and answers to it's been wild, but again, so cool at the same time. So yeah, that, and then John asked, so did Jasper. A few people asked about Hypermill and just like what I've been able to get done while I'm at home. A fair bit. Surprisingly, babies sleep a lot, so I spend a lot of time at my computer with her just like asleep in my arms or on my chest, and then working on my tool database or automation in Hypermill. And I've got my virtual machine back from them a week ago. And so I have been doing a lot of testing and modifying of settings and stuff with Uday to make sure that like this week when I go back, I can hit the ground running and do some testing for them. Like, because they want you to cut like a block and make sure that the safety positions look right and the pre-calls look right and all that stuff. Nice. And thankfully, a lot of that I've been able to do just from familiarity with the code. I programmed something really quick and then posted stuff, and I was like, I don't like that. I don't like this. I need to change this. We need to add this code. Simple stuff like, I need an M10 to turn on my mist collector. Right. Or, it's posting out tool numbers, not tool names. How do we change that? And so
nice.
Been doing a fair bit of that. And then also, a fair bit of automation center stuff. So I've got a rough script now that as long as I have the work plane correct right off the bat, it creates a stock body, creates like a facing boundary box, brings in my vise, assigns all that stuff, does all the feature recognition, creates a bunch of frames, which is like how you control tool orientation in Hypermill. So it creates all the frames for all around the part. And then next I need to start creating what they call macros, where you can assign, it's basically templates. So like whole templates, you can assign them based on color or based on size or all kinds of stuff. So I need to create a bunch of those so that those holes that it recognizes in the automation will automatically be populated with the correct macro for them too.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like that shit is so sick.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Like I really like Automation Center and messing around with it because you can do a lot of stuff. And it's like, I know I was talking to Rob Lockwood about this last week because I had mentioned on the last episode that I was excited about, teaching somebody to button press through an automation script was much easier than teaching them container method. And like you basically have to be a somewhat of a power user to understand container method at its core, especially if you're using lineage. Whereas with Automation Center, it's like, there's the automation toolbar, click the first button and then follow the prompts on the screen and you'll have what you need.
Yeah. Yeah. The lineage stuff is fucking wild.
Oh, it's so cool. And it works so well. But again, it's like, especially because we've talked about hiring people like out of school, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to get somebody spun up on container method and doing it correctly and not making a very scary error in that than it would be to just say like, okay, let's walk through this Hypermill script together. And like you can put in, custom JPEGs into the script. You can put in custom text. So I can literally have it walk somebody through and say like, okay, this step came up, click all of the M3 holes and it will color them for the later ops. And we're like, okay, hit the checkbox. Cool. And then it runs through some automated stuff. And it's like, okay, select which vice you want. Or the thing I need to do next is I can put standard stock sizes and all of my vices in an Excel spreadsheet and have it auto down select to the ones that fit the X width of the part or like the opening of the part.
Right.
And so that's probably what I'll do. Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a fair bit done. Not as much as I wanted, but I have also kind of been giving myself some grace in terms of like I got a lot of other stuff on my plate.
Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with a whole other human.
Yeah.
That is completely dependent on you.
Yep. Yeah.
A little bit different.
Yeah. And then I've been in the shop. This will be my either third or fourth time over leave. I came in. We had a random repeat job come in that I never in my wildest dreams thought we would make more of.
Yeah.
But I had built like a fairly nice fixture for the Hermla to do these parts. Like there was three axis ops, 3 or 4 3-axis ops, and then a Hermla op to finish them. And I didn't really want to say no to my customer, and Brad didn't really want to say no because we were the ones to do these parts for them. And so I came in on a Wednesday and set everything up and got it running so that Brad could run the rest of them out. And then came in Wednesday this week to give a tour to Clinton Bettner. He's on Instagram. Yeah. Super cool guy. I really enjoyed having him out and getting to chat with him.
Yeah, we met, you might have met him before, but we were
the Swiss dinner.
Swiss dinner, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at our table, I think.
Yeah. It's funny because he lives close to where I am right now.
Oh, really?
But he's down by you.
Yeah. He's out here for Formula Baja.
Nice.
Yeah.
Baja's cool.
Yeah. Depending on my schedule tomorrow, might go to their race. Because the other thing I didn't realize about Baja over Formula is that Baja gets the race wheel to wheel on the last day of their competition. So they do an endurance race. And I'm like, ooh, that could be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they like wreck.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I came in Wednesday to show him around the shop. I came in a little early just because I knew I had a million packages. I've been home and bored at points and wanting to fix a lot of shop things, and so I ordered a ton of stuff. Like I ordered a new hose reel because I hate that one that you've seen that like leaks everywhere every time we fill coolant.
Yeah.
I ordered another bubble wrap machine because I found out that the same company makes ones that do 8-inch air pillows as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I found them on eBay. Like there's some guy selling 50 of them for like $150.
The machine?
The machine. They're normally $2,500 or something. They're used out of some facility. So I bought one of those.
Damn, I might buy one just because.
Right. Yeah. And then I found the media or like the bags for another $90, I think, on eBay.
So the machine specifically only does air pillows.
Yep.
Interesting. That's so wild. You'd think that they would have, I mean, maybe there's like an all-purpose one at some point, but like it's so
I don't know.
Weird, you know?
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It's a little smaller of a machine too, because it only takes the 8-inch rolls. But yeah, the second I saw it, I was like, oh, that's great. Because like we end up either backfilling with paper sometimes, but we've kind of stopped doing that. And then sometimes we'll leave out any of like the semi-bursted bubble wrap sheets just like out on the counter so we can use those to backfill. But I'd much rather like something that looks nice and takes up, a lot more space and is a lot more protective. So this will work perfectly.
Can you get the bags with like your logo on them? That'd be kind of cool.
I don't know. One thing I really was trying to do is I found these really cool small part boxes that I was trying to get with our logo.
Yeah.
They're called Hexpand, Hexpand.
Okay.
And they laser cut this like hex grid into the inside filler. And as you push it down around the part, it expands and like traps the part in a cardboard net of almost.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Looks super sick.
Yeah.
Has been almost impossible to get sourced.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. The company doesn't make them themselves. They use like other partners to make them. The only place that they recommended to do short runs, like 100 boxes or 200 boxes, I think I went through 15 emails with them and still didn't get a quote. And then reached back out to Hexpand, and they were like, everybody else requires like 20 grand in dies to be made for the boxes. So this is kind of your only option, but I can look. And then I never heard back from them. So
what the fuck?
It's the point where I'm like, do I just buy a CO2 laser and stick it in one of the offices and just have it make boxes? I'm not going to, but it would be neat.
That would be neat. Yeah, that is a fucking procrastination project. You're just like, yeah, I built a box making lab over here.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. But lots of little things like that I've been ordering. So I came in early and did a few things. We got the Molly No from Instagram asked about the H2D printer to replace the bamboo. I know the last episode, it was funny. People saw my post on the H2D and they were like, oh, that was quick. Because at the time I said like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to buy one. I don't know that we need it. We bought it because I found someone to buy one of our X1Cs. I don't know. I thought it would be, we've had a few times where like having more build plate would be really nice. And so we ordered one of them, showed up. I have yet to turn it on. It's still sitting in its box on the floor. Monday, that's one of my tasks is to
get that bad boy fired up.
Yep. Yeah, I think I have to pull the table up because it's so big that it's going to hit the wall if I try to put it on the table. We have the excellent season.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's chonky. But yeah, lots of little projects like that. I'm trying to think of what else. There was a few other things. I made a whole, I don't know, 50 or 60 item to-do list to start when I get back to, because like the first thing I got to do is I got to clean out the Hermla, the coolant that had already started kind of going bad and not sound or smelling great.
Yeah. Dude, but I gotta say, this reminds me, this morning because the guys at Elsner or whatever here in PA, they're slow. Like he's like, we didn't run the knock for like a month. We just have nothing to run on it. And he's like, I fired up. So he's like, I fired up the machine to just like run some shit. And he's like, the fucking coolant smelled like rotten elephant pussy. Oh my God.
Oh, gross.
Description.
Yeah.
Very funny.
So it was already looking kind of gross before I left. And then, yeah, when I came in 2 Wednesdays ago, it definitely was not smelling any better. It's got that kind of feet smell up to it now. And so, we haven't cleaned it out once since we got the machine. So it's about time anyway.
Does that, like, how does that work with like the paper band filter? Is that like more extensive because it's like kind of in stuff or not really?
So the paper band I can just kind of leave alone, but it is more extensive because now I've got 2 sumps to clean. So I have to pull the conveyor out, pull the conveyor sump out of the machine, clean all that, vacuum all that up, and then suck dry the main coolant sump where like the paper band is and all the pumps, clean out all in there too, and then fill it all up.
It's a fucking project.
Yeah, what I think I'm going to do is we use the Qualichem Eco Clean. So, and that stuff can mix with coolant. Okay. So I'll probably just suck out like half of the main sump and half of the conveyor sump and then backfill it with 2% Eco Clean and then just like run it all day, just have it doing warm-ups. And I've got that awesome sprayer nozzle thing that I'm going to throw in one of the tools and just have that kind of run TSC all day and
the squirter.
Spray out. Yeah, the squirter. Have that spray out the machine and kind of start the process. And then I'll go in and give everything a good scrub down and then clear it out and refill it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Wait, hold on. I had a question for you. Because like when we did the send cut send stuff, I opted more for configurations of stuff instead of the lineage, at least to start with. Like, which makes it a little bit, I mean, I see the advantage of the lineage stuff because it's much more lightweight of a model situation, and kind of like more like quote unquote infinitely scalable. But if you have like in the Hermla's case, like it kind of like has one configuration more or less, like maybe like a handful.
Right.
Would it like, and the configurations, because you're just selecting from a drop-down box, are a little bit easier to work with? Like, do you think if you have like an employee that you go that route instead of the lineage stuff until they're like ready and like you kind of like level them up to the lineage shit?
It kind of depends. I have been very hesitant to use a lot of configuration stuff because it can get so buggy at some points.
Yeah.
And also, depending on how many options you have, it can really chug. Like if you got like a 20, I don't, but if you have 20 different work holding solutions and a bunch of different 0 points and whatever, like that's where it can start kind of sitting and just like you're like, all right, can you update now?
Yeah.
So, and also like they keep when I built all this stuff out, it was much more buggy and much more limiting as well. Like you couldn't export a configured design; you could only export a configuration itself. Like you couldn't export with all of the configurations. You could only export a single configuration, if I remember right. I think that's changed now.
Yeah. It'll ask you for the state that you want to put it
export it in.
Yeah. And then you'll still have options. Well, I don't know about export, but like when you like insert into current design, it'll ask you like what state it's in, but then you'll still have the ability to change it once it's in there, back to whatever you want.
So I think it's gotten a lot better, but right now we only use that for stuff like vice jaws. Like if I want to go from inside clamping to outside clamping on the legs and stuff like that, I'll go through and use a configuration.
Yeah.
Maybe it's at the point now that it's reliable enough that I can swap everything over to it.
I thought it was pretty sick. Like when I was doing it recently, like because they have like a way that they like a geometry, for instance, that they like to use for cutoffs, like the main programmer over there at Send Cut Send. And so like we built a plane that is at the bottom of the part. And like it's essentially like attached to the part, but like it's one sketch, and depending on which configuration, because it's all math based, like it moves up and down whether you're not using the riser and the vise that you're using and size of material and yada yada. It's like pretty dope. And then you just like regenerate the toolpath, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is, done.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think it could definitely help for sure.
It's just easier, like quick going from a drop down box. Like the lineage stuff I like, but it's like right click, replace. Like, oh my God. It is more nerve wracking if you, like you said, you need the deep, kind of the deep lore more or less. And like very, like not super high level, but you can fuck that up pretty easy. And then you're crashing. Yeah.
Yeah. If you bring something in that wasn't lineage by accident and all of a sudden like everything breaks and you're like,
yeah,
cool.
Whoopsies.
Got to do that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Doug asked for me, what was how was it the first time I held my daughter? It was wild. Like I have never been one to really hold friends' babies. Like I will like with very, very close friends, but I don't know. To me, it's like somebody handing you a Fabergé egg and being like, oh, you want to hold it? Like, no, I'll just admire it from afar. Like, it's not mine to break. So it was, I don't know. That whole day was just so overwhelming. I think being in the hospital, and we were there for a few days, and I don't know. It was just I don't even know the words. Like it was overwhelming. I would say really overwhelming, amazing, but overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, beautiful. You can cry. Yeah. It's okay.
No, I'm having a good day. I left on a good note today.
Nice.
Yeah. She wasn't screaming in my face and all that stuff. Her diaper was changed. She was fed. She was doing perfect when I left.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tuck asked, how goes it with automating my calibration palette? That is on my to-do list. Haven't touched it at all since I've been home. Hypermill's been the only work thing besides like these little projects and buying stuff for them. The only other work thing I've been working on has been Hypermill and tool libraries and all that stuff. I haven't even really thought about the calibration stuff at all, to be honest.
Nice.
And then he also asked about sleep. I'm not sleeping that much. We're like working. Katie and I are working together on what our schedule is going to look like. Because like especially with me going back on Monday, it's just going to be tough. Like no matter how you structure those night feeds and stuff, like she's eating every 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 if we're like super lucky.
Right.
You're going to be up a few times. Like right now, the way we've been doing it is that I just stay up super late and take care of everything that she needs. And Katie gets, a few hours of sleep. And so I'll be up till 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we swap over and, Katie will start taking care of her then and I'll go to bed. But that also means that, if we have a bad night and Molly doesn't want to go to sleep, that Katie's up from 2 till whenever I get home the next day from work.
Right. Brutal.
It's like, that's super brutal. So it's just tough trying to find that schedule and figure out how to do it. I think as she starts sleeping more, we're going to be better. Like, I keep having friends call me and they're like, just wait, 4 or 5 months in, she'll be sleeping more through the night. Like maybe you'll be up.
4 or 5 months.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, man, I am barely looking 24 hours ahead at this point. So
yeah, they're like, don't worry. In like 16 weeks, it's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah. 3 lifetimes from now, you'll get some sleep again. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question for both of us from Ashley Wells. He said, AI to help out in the shop. He saw a post from you using it in the same way that he is. Upload all your machine manuals and ask it for help.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been using it like Google LM. I don't remember why Google LM. I think we talked about it like 8 months ago or something. It was it was the podcast feature of it, where it which is such a bizarre. It's so weird.
It is almost uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, dude, because I did it with the Nakamura manuals and like Renishaw manuals, and I generated the podcast for the Renishaw stuff, and it's like, you hear about this? You hear about this M50? It's like, what the fuck is this? But it is just like, it is so nice because, like, I've joked around, and I probably will just do it, is getting RTFM fucking tattooed on my knuckles just because it's so funny. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you can get this thing to like read the fucking manual for you, which is like, I've had, like, for instance, like Easton, he's like, how do you like fucking, what is it? How do you rigid tap on the sub spindle? And it's like, that's a good fucking question. And I was like, I hadn't fired it up in a long time. And I'm like, let me go to this and check. And I just like typed it in, and it's like, and that's what I posted today, which was like, or no, that's not what I posted today. I think what I posted today was the spindle thing, but like, that's what I asked it. And it's like, yeah, try this. And like, while we're on the phone, he's like, cool. Yeah, that worked. It's like, just put it here. It tells you exactly, like, because it just kind of parses out the shit that you need, like where to put it, how to use it, whatever. And same thing today. It's like, he asked me, Tyke asked me, he's like, he's like, did you ever figure out how to like run all the spindles at the same time? And it's like, check. And I just did it. And it's like, yeah, 791 done. And away we go. It just works. So, I mean, there's so much from like ChatGPT and all these things that are just like incredibly powerful tools like that, where you're just like, you just don't have to like think about it. And like, it's a trust but verify thing, because it's like, I mean, we've all seen like the Google AI responses that are at the top that are sometimes just like wrong,
absolute garbage.
Yeah, it's like, this is, and I've had it happen with the Google LM thing too, where you ask it a question and it's just like, it's giving you nothing. It's like, I didn't, but it's like, I gave it the wrong prompt or whatever. So it's like, I'm cooked.
Right.
But it is something, from like creating your own like workable knowledge base, essentially, it's like, why not? It helps get, because a lot of the time, like, it's like, I don't have access to this information, and like, they give it to you. It's just hard to fucking parse through like a fucking stack of manuals that's like 2 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what the fuck do I do with this? But if they give them to you digitally, you just dump them all onto ChatGPT or Claude or fucking Google LM or whatever. And it's like, fucking answer my questions, bitch. And it does.
It tries, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got subscriptions to Claude, ChatGPT, and then Sim Theory, because Sim Theory gives me access to a lot of models. And so I use it, for that kind of stuff. For rough ideas for like logos. Like there was a few logos that I wanted for internal use. That was both really cool and really frustrating this last week. It was Tuesday or Wednesday I was playing with it at night. I went into chat because, I've been seeing all these new pictures that it creates. I'm like, oh, sick. All right, maybe it'll make some logos. Turns out it's really good at artistic stuff. It's really bad at like logical closed loop, like logo stuff.
Yeah.
So like I got super close with a logo that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was asking for like 2 different changes to it. And it could not do it.
And it like blows up.
Yeah. It would be like, oh yes, of course I can do that. And they would give me the exact same image. And I would say like, analyze what you just produced and tell me if it satisfied the requirements. And it was like, no, it did not. Actually, I did this wrong and this wrong. And I'm like, how do I get you to do it right? And they're like, well, this is kind of a limitation of ChatGPT right now. It's not great at analytical style drawing. So they're like, oh, we can give you this as something to take to a real designer and they can finish it out for you. I'm like, yeah, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just probably do it myself in Illustrator at this point because it has gotten me so close. But it was so frustrating. And like, there was another one where it was a shirt for us that I was trying to make and just like a very simple logo. And it was like, just could not get it. Like, I was like, just do this. And it was like, do you want this? And it's like, not even close.
Right.
Like,
sometimes it's like, this isn't even, it's like, I'm asking you to produce words and that's not even like a letter.
Yeah.
There's not a single letter in there.
Yeah. Well, like, and sometimes I'll use Claude for podcast descriptions when my internal editing software fails to do it right.
Okay.
And the last episode I posted, it was just having crazy hallucinations where I fed it the script from our episode and it kept attributing the shop move to me instead of you. And I'd go like, Zap is the one moving shops. And I'd go, oh, okay, here you go. And then give me, Dylan. And Dylan shares this week about his shop move. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? Why? Yeah. And then like on Sim Theory, which is what I use, it was Claude through Sim Theory. You can create agents. And so you give them backstory and stuff. And so like I have it crawling the Within Tolerance podcast URL. So it's constantly getting all of the, all of the information.
Yeah.
And then it just started like bringing in random information and random guests from past episodes.
Yeah.
Like it was you, me, and Justin. And then it would talk about like Eric from Clear Irons. I'm like, in what world did the script I just gave you say Eric? Oh, and that was the most frustrating thing is I would mention the script that I fed it or the transcription. And it would go, I don't see any transcription that you've given me. I'm like, it's attached to this whole thing. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's so funny. That's crazy. You know, speaking of AI, who used it very effectively was fucking Tom with the forklift.
Is that how he made that? I meant to ask him if that's how he made it.
He made it with AI, and it's like, you son of a bitch, this is so good.
It was such a top tier thing.
Yeah. I was like, I love this. This is such a hater move. And he's like, you're actually discriminating against me, if anything. I was like, oh,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's true. But also, it's like, I'm still going to keep smashing these fucking burgers. They're not going to fucking stop me.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I've skipped over one of John's questions too about the Hypermill script that I was using Sim Theory to help me build. I haven't gotten anywhere on it. I got to the point where the last, attempt with Claude, it kind of lost the thread. And I don't know. I get to that point on a lot of projects with AI, and then I'm just like so discouraged. I'm like, I've spent so much time giving information to this AI, and then I get to the limits of its memory, and I'm like, I'll circle back around eventually, but I don't want to do this anymore.
And we have James's question from the Patreon too.
Yeah, I wanted to push that towards the end.
Okay.
To kind of get through all the baby stuff, or not the end of the podcast, but basically now. James asked, talk about companies that want you to solve their problems yet refuse to share data. Talk about that. So I don't have this problem. My customers cannot get parts made without sharing some data, but I would imagine this is something you have dealt with as well.
Dude, it is. Yeah. Like sometimes it is one of the most frustrating fucking things in the world. And so if they won't give us data, then we just start going, and eventually they'll share the data with us when we inevitably provide them something that is what they don't want,
right?
Or not what they don't want, but it's like not formatted the way they want, or not using the tools that they already have, but they decided not to give us or whatever. And then they're like we had a contract programming job recently where it was the most frustrating thing in the world, because it's like, well, what what tools? Like, can you provide it? Like, what tools do you have? Like, oh, we have a lot of tools. Okay, cool. Do you want to? Yeah, I'll provide the list. Yeah. Never provided a list, and so we're just. But they're like, where are the programs? Where are the programs? And it's like, all right, well, we'll just start fucking going, and like we'll just start a list from scratch, and then we'll see what happens. And like, that's what we did. And like, well, I don't want to order any of these tools, so why don't you use what we already have? And it's like, you didn't provide that, so we did this, and we're like, well, can you reprogram it with what we have? And it's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then it's like, wow, this is taking so long, and it's like, yeah, sure, okay. Or they'll do stuff like break all the fucking tools and then hit us up with all the tools broken and be like, well, what do I do now? And it's like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, they're like, can you reprogram it with a completely different tool? Like, I know it was a 3/16 flat end mill, but why don't you use like this 3mm ball end mill instead? Like, sure. And then be like, yeah. So this is, and then one of our other customers, our current customer. Oh, we got a current customer. That's cool.
Yeah. How's that been going?
Dude, shout out to Doug. That dude fucking chugs. He's he's so good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Like to the point where it's like, we like barely have to talk. It's like, we're just cranking, you know? And it's really, really fucking cool. But like that customer, same kind of deal is yeah, you know, just produce, like, we just need programs and like giving us like a baseline of information or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, we produce it. It's like, well, we actually like to see stuff like this. And it's like, okay, well, we had no way of knowing that. So,
right.
This is something that like Doug and I have been talking about for more or less like the last week or so. And I've been like slowly working on in the background, like as inspiration strikes, which is like a Google form or something, like a checklist, whatever. That's just like, what are the fucking things that have fucked us up, you know? And kind of onboarding customers or like getting to like what is done, you know?
Right.
And like trying to like skip some of these steps or like speed up some of these steps, because like you think you ask the right questions, like, can I get your tool library, can I get this, can I get that? And it's like sometimes people's tool libraries just fucking suck, you know?
Right.
Like, it's bad. Like, and you're like, oh, okay, like this doesn't actually help that much or whatever, and or it's not as helpful as like it is internally. And there's a really interesting thing that happens with us, especially like me with my sparkling personality, you know, it's like we integrate really well into a company and like into a team, which is a gift and a curse. The gift being like we can kind of get moving very quickly. The curse being that they think of me as an employee and not like as an outside guy. And so there's a lot of things that there's a lack of urgency sometimes in the communication and the like transfer of knowledge, because they just take for granted that I'm like going to leave. And sometimes it's like really pulling them along, like, hey guys, like, I'm not here next week. We need to fucking figure this out right now. And just kind of having those conversations like day after day after day until we get there. And then sometimes like it's fine while I'm there and then not so fine when I'm gone, you know? Like, I mean, fuck, dude. The one text message that I sent you like yesterday, I think, where it's like, hey, I'm not seeing this on the list. And it's like, oh, yeah, it should be this. It's this program, right? And it's like, yes, that program. Yeah, it should be 2012 or whatever. It's like, and then he responded, yeah, it should be 2012. And it's like, right. Yes.
Like, see above.
Yeah, like, I said it twice before, like that it's mislabeled. It's like, what am I like? I mean, it's pretty of all the things, like, is just such like a silly thing. And that's been like like that customer in particular, like I like working with them a lot, but the communication has been like really brutal, because it's like I'm getting like text messages and phone calls and like multiple email threads, like, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, we're running, but we want you to fix it, but we're still running. And it's like things are breaking, but it's like the tool life isn't there. and we want to fix this and we want to fix that. And like, we'll send you pictures. And then I get another set of pictures and you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? And like, that was a particularly interesting one because they're like, before I got there, the fucking Friday before I got there, they're like, we want to work on these 4 parts and then maybe some other stuff, like depending on what you do. And it's like, okay. And then Monday morning, they're like, so we want you to work on 14 parts. And it's like, what? Like,
whoa,
this is crazy. Like, and it's like, and that was a fascinating one because like what people, this was like a really interesting conversation because it's like these parts look really good, and then we get the fucking CMM report. It's like there's red all over this. Like it's mostly a good part for sure, but like this isn't a green report. We have like 15, like 11 things that are out. Like, is this good? And they're like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's like, it's like, no. Like, you're not understanding what I'm saying is like, are you saying this is good and we're done? Like, that's what I need to know is like, I don't fucking care if it is a good part or if it isn't a good part. I mean, obviously I want it to be good, but like, I don't feel good about you saying this is good, move on to the next one because like, there's still things to fix.
Right.
So what are we doing? And they're like, when the guy's like, I don't know, it's like, all right, time out. Like, yeah, like guys, come on. like we have so little time and like, it's like, we need to pull this back because like you want to do a lot of shit right now, but you don't know what a good part is. And like, this should be very black and white and it's not. What is going on?
Right. Yeah. If you can't measure success, how am I supposed to measure
it's like,
success?
I don't know how to move forward. And it's like, it's kind of having these conversations like over and over and over again. Like, and every customer, I mean, the thing is like every customer communicates differently. Like people got like, some of them are like way beyond, like they have their shit together and then some of them don't have their shit together. And like navigating those fucking things is like very difficult. Like it's like you can't treat every customer the same because like a guy with the fucking Haas in his garage is probably going to act a little bit different than the dude with 40 Matsuras or whatever. And in some cases, the guy with 40 Matsuras is more of a fucking mess than the dude with the Haas in his garage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just very different.
Yeah.
So the answer, as always, is it kind of depends. I mean, like, but just working on trying to like as we go, like how could we have sped up this process, like to getting to like delivering what they want faster and better, and understanding what they need better and like asking them to like fill out a form or fucking like just tell me what it is. Cause like I say what I think it is, you guys sign this and then we show up and it's different. So what the fuck is going on?
I mean, that's, I think, the problem with even if you had a sheet for them to fill out, like for that customer, if you had on the sheet, how do we measure success? Or like, what is a successful end to this project for you? It sounds like they would have looked at it and been like, I don't know.
Right.
Right. Like, we cut chips. You're like, cool, I'm done. Bye.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But I mean, like, we're getting there. It's an interesting process. Like it gets better all the time. More or less, but it's like, oh fuck, kills me. It's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Oh, and to John's other question, I forgot too. When can we expect the next Hermla? We'll see. Like we'd love to order one next month, but to what somebody asked, James Goodyear was asking about like tariffs and how it affects the job shop space. Materials harder to get, more expensive. Tools are more expensive, all that stuff. Machine tools are more expensive. Like that we're currently waiting to see what happens. I really don't want to spend an extra 70 to 140 grand on another Hermla. Like that would suck. And it's not like there's a US made competitor that I can look towards that I can cross shop a HS Flex with. I'm not buying a UMC 500 pallet pool as a competitor to an HS Flex,
which is
just not in the same
price.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. I'd love to order it by the end of June if we can.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, we just need it. Like it.
Yeah.
We Brad has been really kicking ass in terms of revenue while I've been gone, and like they have been sending him more work than he can support. And I think with me coming back on Monday, that's not going to change. We're just going to be slammed as it is, and we need a way to automate all that, because like there's no way we can add new customers when we're being overwhelmed by our current ones.
Right. Preach, brother.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if you could have 10 Dougs, or an AI assistant that did the work of 5 Dougs, then you would. And like that's kind of what the Flex will do for us, is that I can just load up a bunch of these jobs, especially with how confident I'm feeling in virtual machine and all of the checking that Hypermill does.
Right.
I feel pretty confident. I mean, once we prove out the post and we're feeling good about it, that I'll just be able to fire programs off, and as long as the stock is good and the tools are loaded, I'll come back to parts.
Right. And you can like probe verify the stock is good and kick the pallet out if it's wrong,
Yep.
Like, bye. All right. Yeah. Next one.
Yeah. And Hypermill makes probing and recutting super easy.
Right.
So we'll be able to not only verify stock, but also verify cut, parameters, and make sure that we recut stuff and really hit any tight tolerance features.
Yeah. 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 I mean, like it makes the like probing and Fusion look like shit,
Yes and no. Like I think that a lot of the stuff, I mean, I guess we can do Max Vogel's question of like, what's your favorite CAM software, personal favorite? I love Fusion. Like I think it's so user friendly and looks so good. Like just like UI wise looks fantastic. But man, I like some of the stuff in Hypermill has just been so nice. Like I already bragged about, 3D ISO, just like fitting its own UV curves. Cool. I don't have to fight flow ever again.
Right.
The simulation being just rock solid and checking everything. Plus, checking preset location and tool length on the machine. Awesome. The probing, it doesn't look as nice as Fusion's, and it's not as easy to like pick random points and stuff because it's all different probing tool paths in Hypermill. It's not like kind of baked into the same one, and that varies depending on what your selection is.
But it's better.
It's very good. Like I just, pick my points and then on another tab say measure and recut, or like probe and recut, or whatever it says. And then I just hit the job to reference, and it knows to post out all of the correct macro stuff to probe it, check it, and recut it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So I don't know that I have a personal favorite. I think from a UI perspective and as a user perspective, I think Fusion will always have a place in my heart just because it's so dead simple.
Right.
But we're at the point in my business where like I will choose the ugly UI that works fantastically, and I don't have to fight for like the kind of work I'm doing any day now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much right there with you. It's Fusion. Like it's like probably Fusion and then Mastercam for me right now. I think if I spent more time with Hypermill, I probably would like that a lot. But between everything that we use, it's like Fusion is just like it's just so fucking easy to like spin up for anybody. It's so good.
It feels current too.
Right.
Like there's no other cam system that I've used, and like even looking at Mastercam, like it's gotten better with their whatever you want to call it, Windows UI. No, I mean it kind of looks like Word or PowerPoint or anything like that.
Right.
But it still doesn't feel like it was developed this decade.
Yeah.
Whereas like Fusion does. Like it just feels like, oh, this is alongside any other web app I use or current new program I use, it fits in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's good. Exactly. Utah Tech Fab Lab asked, in what ways do you think that education for machinists needs to change?
I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know how to make it more accessible, there's a lot of tools out there, but like, I don't know,
Right.
Like
I think the problem is like the changes I'd love to see are not practical in a college.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to see them teach multiple CAM systems and have exposure to multiple different kinds of controls. And like some schools have that ability and have, you know, licenses of everything under the sun, but most of the smaller community colleges have like a few HOS because they have a fantastic education outreach, and they have Mastercam because Mastercam's super good at dropping licenses in colleges, or they'll have Fusion because it's super cheap now.
Right.
But I think that like that might be a limiting factor for a lot of people coming out of school, is not realizing like they get pigeonholed into like, I'm a Mastercam programmer and this is how Mastercam does it, and not realizing like Mastercam does it the exact same way that everybody else does it and calls it a different thing, but it's the exact same thing, you know? And like every CAM system basically does the same shit in a different way, and every machine tool does basically the same shit in a different way. There's pros and cons, but like I think a lot of people don't come out of school recognizing that like everything is fine. Oh, I got to go get a job and learn a new CAM system. Cool.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. Yeah.
It's when people are like, it's always so fascinating when people are like, oh, Fusion is hard, coming from like Mastercam or Esprit or something. And you're like, what the fuck? And it's mostly the CAD side. That's the part that's crazy. Is having like a full parametric CAD system for the first time is what fucks people up.
Right.
Like, I think that like GD&T is not taught enough.
Yeah.
You see a lot of bullshit out there. Like knowing how to cut is one thing, you know, which is like good, but like being able to like measure your parts is kind of like, that's like what actually matters more or less. Like for instance, this fucking like this part that we made is like, from what we could tell with pins and shit, it's good, right? But we can't get like the fucking 1,000 true position to 3 datums. Like we don't know, right? Like I mean, we probably could like jig something up, but like that's hard. 2,000 profile tolerance to 3 datums, surface profile tolerance on a slot. You know, it's like it's tough,
right?
Like to get that going, and like you get these things where it's like, I mean, the part like, and this is an extreme case because like, but like we're gonna fire it, like they're just gonna ship it because their customer can measure it. And like they had, I overheard the meeting where they were like, yeah, we can't really measure this, so we're just gonna like make a couple of them and shoot them to you and go back round and round. And it's like cutting the part is kind of the easy thing, you know?
Right.
It's like being able to like make tool paths, whatever. Like making tool paths doesn't make you a machinist, makes you a programmer kind of thing. And like being able to like cut parts is good, and like running a machine is good, but like measuring and like understanding GD&T is, I think that's where we're like kind of lacking, I would say. I
would agree. Yeah. On both sides of the aisle there, like engineers and machinists.
Yeah. Cause like anymore, like you can always tell when it's like a fucking fresh ass kid. Cause it's like, yeah, this part is, yeah, we got GD&T on there. It's like, dog, you just basically asked me to make a perfect part. Like, it's like you didn't actually do the GD&T for your assembly to like see what it could be. You just were like, well, if this is a 1,000 true position and that's a 1,000 true position, then like however you make it, like as long as those hit, then it should work. And
right.
Like,
if everything's perfect, it'll assemble perfectly. So just make it like, perfect. You're like,
right. And you're like, okay, yeah, sick, cool, thanks. And like you just like I've seen, and you've seen like, and like you deal with high tolerance shit. That's like your shop. That's like what you do. But like as like we move forward in time, like parts get tighter and tighter and tighter for like the dumbest shit. And you're like, dude, come on. Like, oh yeah, do your fucking job. Like
it's because it's a lot easier to not do the engineering. Just, you know, I'll make everything perfect.
Yeah. It's like just some random datum structure that like doesn't really make a lot of sense. Where it's like, well, this constrains it, not to how that matters to the part, but these 3 planes like intersect in a way that are technically constrained. And then now I'm like fucking yeah, this is 1 thou true position, 2 thou true position, couple tenths over here and tolerance. You're like, sick, dude. Tight.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's like, man, if you want to pay for it, sure. Like, it's just going to be harder for you to find shops to source to and harder for you to pay for it. And yeah.
And so I think like it's weird because like it's not technically a requirement to be able to like measure parts to be a machinist, but I think that being able to like understand GD&T and like the quote unquote design intent of the part from the print is like huge, and like knowing kind of what you can play around with, you know, like, which is important. Like the when you see like maximum material condition on a datum, like maximum boundary condition, and like what that means for you.
Yeah.
In terms of like how things can like shift around and like how you need to like size the parts to give yourself the best chance. And like that matters when you're doing like first op to second op stuff, when you're like, oh, I'm cutting datum B on op 1 and I'm cutting my bolt circle on op 2. So I should hold my ID, my datum B to the top so that when I cut the bolt circle, I'm like playing around with my maximum amount of tolerance possible. Because if I cut it the opposite way, then I kind of fucked myself. Then I can't go backwards.
Yeah.
Kind of shit. And so like that type of stuff is what I would like to see more of.
Yeah,
really.
I like that a lot. I think also to go with that, just general inspection stuff, you know, attention to detail, learning how, like even visual inspection, I feel like is very underrepresented in school. Yeah. Of like, you know, here's 3 exactly the same parts. 2 of them are scrap. Tell me why. You know, and it's like, oh, there's a scratch in this bore that violates the surface finish. There's the, you know, this discontinuity that violates this note in the block, you know, all that stuff. It's like that's stuff that I learned working in inspection that I think is kind of absent in a lot of machining. Yeah. Yeah. And it would just help everyone.
Yeah. And to that point is like, there's a lot of like when you get into certain things like semicon and aerospace and whatever, you'll see a lot of parts drawn nominal that if you were to program to the model, you would make a bad part type of shit, which is like, it's annoying. Like, I get it. People complain about it all the time, but it like from a design aspect makes a lot of sense because you're like working with like plating or whatever. And it's like, this is a 1/4 inch hole, plus, minus, whatever.
Right.
And even then, like it depending on like how anodize works and like the type of plating requirements, like, oh, is this electroless nickel or whatever, and like how that builds up on the part. It's like, oh fuck, I might need to like oversize, like I just need to oversize the feature in a way that like you normally wouldn't. But it's like, you know, especially if you are the one that's handling the plating and like which can get like very involved very quickly.
Yeah.
Which is like annoying. But
I mean, that's why, what is it? AS has contract review as a standard.
Right.
It's because, you know, that stuff does matter. You know, it doesn't matter as much for me because like my contract is, hey, make this to a block or a standard tolerance.
Right.
We're not giving you a print. It's like, cool. Right. Okay. I just need to look at the model. But yeah, when you get a 30-page print from a aerospace manufacturer and, you know, it's got 5 steps of outside process and tight tolerances and all that. It's like, oh, you need to kind of spec that stuff out and figure out your process ahead of time and make sure that it's doable. You know, sometimes they spec stuff and you're like, these things add up so that it's a failure every time. I'm going to have a 1% acceptance rate. Like if I listen to what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I need to do like custom taps type of shit. You know, like it's like very interesting. Like these guys in Maryland, they do a lot of like H3 taps. I've never even fucking like, they like, they're custom because of like plating requirements and stuff.
Right.
It's very interesting because it's like, fuck, I didn't even know you could do that. And they're like, yeah, we buy them special.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can do our thing.
And then you can get pre-plate gauging too. Like you can get custom thread gauges for pre-plate so that they go every time. And there's a ton of stuff you can do. But yeah, it's all. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that more focus on inspection and kind of just like the holistic nature of what it takes to make a good part rather than just programming and just setting up, and those are great skills to have, but they don't make you a like true machinist.
Right. It's what it's like what makes you exceptional, more or less, is like, how do you actually make this? Like not program it and get it onto a machine, because like that is a thing, but like, how do you like take this over the fucking finish line for real?
Yeah.
And like see it all the way through. And knowing how to do that is what's going to make you like give you a lot more longevity and a lot more value to your customer, to your company, or fucking whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
And then I guess to that point too, I'm going to go one more. I got one more, which is just that like making a part sometimes isn't just, and like this is tangential to this, is like sometimes making the part isn't just making the part, It's like what happens before and after, like outside of like you're developing a process. And sometimes like this is something that's like crazy, is like sometimes you can't achieve it, like, and this is like you can't just like achieve it with like tabbing it, or like, oh, I make it in a vise and I flip it over in soft jaws and I'm done. Like sometimes it doesn't work that way. One of my customers, for instance, like the way that they were making the part, and like every time I tell somebody this, they like, well, that's not sustainable. It's like they've been doing it for 8 fucking years with 100% of the parts that they do, and it's a process that works where they take it down. Like they take it from T6 to T0 because of if the part moves, it's so soft they can fucking hit it and bend it back into place. And it's like, well, that's not sustainable. It's like they made millions of dollars doing that.
Right.
And like sometimes that has like not spinning out on like, how do I do it without it? It's like sometimes you just have to fucking do it. And like the thing is like this is kind of like Machinist Plus, kind of like into it, like low, like basically like a manufacturing engineering type of deal. But it's like sometimes you need some dumb bullshit to make a part, even if it's going to be like a dialed in process, as long as you can like document it and make it consistent in a way. And I think that teaching, like there are beyond like vice, fixture, vice, fucking whatever. There's like, you might have to do some dumbass shit,
right? Well,
like,
I think that's like that's a big learning you have on the job, and that is a learning I continue to have. Is we're pushed to be as efficient as possible as machinists. Yeah. At some point, you start seeing those scales more clearly of like, yes, this might take me 20 minutes longer, but it means that I have a good part first time, especially in prototyping too, where I'm like, okay, I mean, we talked about it on here before, where I've like spent 5 hours trying to one up a part, and then I switched to 2 ups and I'm done in, half the time. And it's like, cool, I would have been done with 2 jobs by now had I just like sucked it up and done the thing that was slightly less optimal.
Right. And so I think to that point is like you said, like you're going to get, this is what I think about general like education and like engineering and college in general, is like it just gives you a set of tools that you'll be able to apply when you get to like whatever your role is in the real world. Is from like an educational standpoint, this is something that can be done, I would say, is like forcing them to do like a project that is going to make them like, it sets them up to fail in using conventional methods, more or less. Like part's going to bend, it's going to bow, it's just not going to work. You have to do some like dumb shit, just mostly to be like, to give them like the tool of like, oh, sometimes I need to go outside. Not all the time, right? It's like you give them like examples of like 90% of the time it's fucking vice and you're fucking good to go. Or like I can tab this shit off like 50% of the time, vice the other 40% of the time, and then 5-10% of the time I'm doing some like insanely dumb shit that like doesn't make any sense in 90% of other cases, but it's like in this particular instance it just has to be done. And like building that tool set, because like you see, and like we've probably had people reach out to us, it's like, hey, I'm doing this fucking crazy ass part and it's not working like in this conventional sense. It's like, well, have you tried something unconventional? And it's like, no. like maybe try, I don't know, blah. And you
Right.
like, sometimes they try it, sometimes they don't, whatever. It's like, oh, that worked or it didn't. And it's like, but then it gets them thinking about other ways.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, hey, when I squeeze this thin wall part in a fucking vise, it doesn't, it flies out and it's
Right.
like, or it fucking bows. And it's like, yeah, bud.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what happens.
That was the exact example I thought of too, of like people reaching out like, yeah, I'm doing this very thin block with holes and like it's screeching like crazy. And it's like, yeah, have you tried tape and glue or something like that? And it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I would start there. Like I wouldn't have even touched the vise, you know, like that's going to be an uphill battle.
And it's like, oh man, it's like, but the process, it's like, I need it to be whatever. It's like, but, and like this goes back to like, it's like struggling, to your point of like struggling to produce nothing is like because of something that needs to happen like in the future or whatever, is like, well, I need to make a bunch of these. And it's like, but your process sucks. So like do something that works, even if it's inefficient, because then you're making parts and making money ostensibly, and like figure something else out. Blue photon, what, like vacuum, blah, 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 like whatever, like lost wax bullshit or something.
There's so many different things.
There's so many different things. And like, I think that's probably also just from what I've seen from like maybe younger people is like, they're just not seeing, they kind of force themselves into a specific workflow, and when it breaks down, they break down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe one thing I would love to see, back to his original question, like in education, and something that I've seen work very well is there's a few schools out there, like Eagle Manufacturing is one that I can think of, where like they create a business within the college or within the trade school, and they're doing real work. You know, they're bringing in like the super low tolerance brackets that like local shops don't want to do, stuff like that. And they're running them through their own internal shop, and they're learning those hard lessons of like, oh shoot, I just scrapped 5 of these and like now I've got no extra stock, and we way underquoted this. And like, that's how I think that's how you teach people what it's like to be a real machinist. Like it's all of those little things that are tangentially related to actually programming and setting stuff up that really bite you in the ass when you go to the real world. And I think that's really good. Like I love seeing schools that do that, because I can almost guarantee, I mean, I've never met any of his kids, but like I bet any of the kids coming out of Eagle Manufacturing like actually know what the hell is going on.
Right. Because they're just they're like doing the job for real.
Exactly. You put this one on here. Daniel Kelly asked, how can tool manufacturers better support customers and end users? What can tool manufacturers do better?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, because I find it so fascinating how like website to website is so fucking different.
Yeah.
For like some of them are like incredible. And some of them just like fucking suck. You're like, God, this is like pulling teeth. Like Frasier, I think ultimately has a pretty good one. It's a little bit weird. Like I think the learning curve's a bit too steep. And it's like not necessarily as intuitive as it should be, but when you get into it, it's like, oh, this is sick. You can get a lot of like really good cutting data out of it. IMCO has what I think is like a very good like website for finding tools. Like, you know, it's like you can just like very quickly, like, I'm cutting this alloy, I want this size diameter, I want this stick out, blah, 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 blah. And like, it's really good. And then like Sandvik sucks.
Yes.
I hate using that fucking website. It's like, dude, I just want to know the fucking speeds and feeds of this. Why are you making me go through this process of like building a tool and like selecting a machine and going through all this bullshit to ultimately be like, no, I'm not giving you cutting data. And it's like,
they're like, oh, actually this stuff doesn't work together. And you're like, just give me speeds and feeds. Like, what? Give me surface footage and chip load. That's all I care. So I would say, to start there, make sure that you give me surface footage or surface meters and chip load. Like, start there. Give me that document. Then you can add fancy stuff on top. Like, one thing that drove me nuts, I don't know if it's still that way, but GWS, if you go to their speed and feed chart, it just gives you RPM. It doesn't give you surface footage. Cool. And I'm like, what if I don't have 20,000 RPM?
Yeah.
Now I've got to
it, bitch.
Right. Yeah. Now I've got to do some extra math to figure out a simple number you could have given me already. Like, you're not helping me. You're hurting me.
Yeah.
So yeah, start there. Give them the basics. If I want more, if I want to build a tool holder assembly and all that, that would be great. Sure. But also make it not suck. Like, Sandvix is so bad. I think the default machine is a 246 horsepower universal machine.
It's so bizarre. It's like so bizarre. And it's like, I just need to fucking, and like, you reach out to them and they're like, no, it should work. And it's like, obviously it should work. I wouldn't be fucking reaching out to you if it fucking worked.
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm just reaching out to tell you that it didn't work when it actually did. Sorry.
Oh man, I looked up Niagara tool that we have recently, and they were bought out by Seiko. And you go into their speeds and feeds thing and type in the thing, and it goes, we have no speeds and feeds information for these. You can use this like similar Seiko tool number instead.
What the fuck?
Like,
what the fuck?
Cool. Can you just give me the PDF that I know was on the website at some point?
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
Sorry. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, like, that's just it right there. Is like is give me speeds and feeds. And like a simple way that, like, beyond speeds and feeds is like an easy way to like look up the tool, like any tool. Like, oh, I want a 1/2 inch mill that's about this long and for this material. What are my options? And then I can pick from there. Like having to go through like all these steps. It's like, God, just fucking, like, why is this so difficult? Like,
oh, that's another one. Don't make me sign up for an account.
Yeah.
Harvey and Helical. Make map open for everybody. And if I want to make an account to save my presets, great. Give me the option. But like, don't make me sign up for an account to view speeds and feeds. I'm just never going to order your stuff. Like, that's so stupid.
Right.
Don't put it behind a paywall, more or less.
Yeah. It's like, you're going to fucking inundate me with marketing material. Like, I get it. I know what you have. Please just give me the shit that I want. Yeah.
Yeah. I get fired up about that stuff because it's such an easy thing. Like, I'm looking for easy data to look at, and that's all I want. And don't make it hard for me. I will buy your tools or I won't buy your tools. Me signing up for map is not going to change whether I buy your tools. I promise you.
Promise.
I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
Ugh. Drives me nuts, dude.
So they could get their shit together is what they can do better.
So yeah, I think to boil down what we've been saying, make it easy for people to get the simple data and then add on smart features past that. But don't either make your system so convoluted with smart features that it's hard to get the simple data, and definitely don't make it so that I have to sign up for a fucking account to get your data.
Right. Or like in the case of Canametal, like Canametal, I think, learned their lesson, because I went back and like recently was going through, this was like for Sencut Send with the Go drills, and they had a really, like, when you
so they're super easy. Yeah,
it's super nice. Like you scroll down to the bottom, it's got all the speeds and feeds right there. Like, and it's like, oh, sick. But like before, you had to like you had to like have a separate application in Novo.
Yeah,
like on your, it's like,
Novo sucked.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I will say though, that's another thing. Speaking of ease of access, Canametal, I'm talking about you. Guess what? I don't want to have to learn your dumb material numbers and letters.
Right.
Like, if I hover over something, you should just tell me what an N2 is. I shouldn't have to like I literally, every time I look up Canametal stuff and I don't know it off the top of my head, like what material I'm looking for, I go to Google and I search Canametal material classification chart, and then I have to go find the picture of it and then figure out what my material is. It's like, I don't know off the top of my head, even if they're ISO standards, and I think they might be. I don't know what 416 is. I don't know that it's a whatever M2. I just know it's 416. Like, this is not rocket science.
Yeah, please. What the hell?
Yeah, insane.
Absolutely insane.
All right. Wes Galloway asked, "How do y'all deal with time management? I never seem to have enough time in the day." Join the club.
Same. Yeah. It's really hard. Like, dude, it's fucking tough. It vacillates like so greatly between like like there's always something to do, and I feel like I'm always like missing stuff, even when I like write it down or whatever. It's like it's just trying to like not. I mean, the thing that I've been like, always trying to do is just like focus on the thing that's right in front of me, and sometimes there's just way too much shit, like, and you can't. But no, I mean, ultimately, I mean that's why I stay up till like midnight every night, is just working on stuff. Like wake up early, go to the customer, do what's at the customer, hopefully not have to deal with fucking a bunch of phone calls. Then get off, get done with that, and like go back and do more stuff.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like trying to get to be in a more sustainable place there, which is like kind of working, but it's just like it's
tough. Yeah.
It's hard. Being a business owner is hard.
You're asking this question of like two ADHD boys who stay up far too late to work on shit because they didn't focus for those few hours during the day.
Right.
Like, I don't know that either of us is an expert on this at all. One thing that Justin repeated to me that he heard on Lean Built that I would definitely emphasize is, I think he said that Jay said that he has like 3 things on his list that have to get done every day, and like that's it, and like everything else is bonus. And I would say that like that's a good way to start, is like, okay, make a priority list. Like everything cannot be a priority, so you need to like actually sort out what your priorities for that day are and focus on those, and then everything else falls away. And like, oh cool, if you get all 3 done by noon, you got bonus time to go work on other stuff and shop projects, but get the actual stuff you need done first.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I also find like I walk into the shop and usually do a small improvement project or something like that, like, or clean, or there's something right off the bat that is an easy win, and that really helps me stay focused. Like if I come in and I've got like a insurmountable project, like something that I'm stressing about ahead of me, and I don't do anything else, I'm just going to sit there and like stare at the screen and try to program and worry about it and all that stuff. But if I come in, it's like, oh, I can very quickly go mount that thing that I've been wanting to do for a week, and it takes me 15 minutes. It's like, okay, cool, I won something today. Let's keep this snowball going downhill, kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, this is a long one from Nathan King. He said he recently started his job as an automation engineer, and it's been a whirlwind. He often feels overwhelmed by the ever-growing and pushing train of progress with technology. Well, with technology changing so quickly, how do you deal with the process of getting comfortable with a process or piece of tech and then having to retrain on its replacement in only what seems like a small amount of time? I understand the whole idea of it. You're not learning and constantly evolving. You're going to fall behind, but do you ever get tired of it and feel like I got a thing that works and I'm just going to keep doing that? I don't know. Like, I think that in any business, or at least for us, you find what works, you continue to use what works, and then you experiment with the new stuff. Like I would never wholesale jump on the newest thing right off the bat, because that's how you end up down a road where you're like, oh man, this new thing actually sucks and nobody knew it because it's brand new, and now I have to like backtrack.
I agree. This is an interesting one because like I think without that, I would lose my fucking mind, without having new technology and new stuff to like fuck around with and learn, and like retrain. But you're always like retreading, kind of, depending on, like, at least in my case, depending on like the skill level of my customers, or like where they're currently at and like their processes. Like sometimes you just can't take them to like another level. So you're kind of like always like forward and back. But it is one of the things I find most interesting about the industry is that it's so old, and like kind of locked in, but it's still moving. Like it's still very much moving forward. And like, I would say there are things that it's like, I really like Fraser tools and I really like Power Grip, and like, but I mean, and that's like my baseline and that's where I start. But if there's like, well, they don't have something for me, then it's like, all right, well, we're going outside and we're going to try it and we're going to make it work. And it's just an opportunity to add another tool to the toolbox, like in that case, literally, but really it's like figuratively, it's like is there something else we can do here that ultimately is going to be good long term?
Yeah. Well, and I would say, since to be more pointed about his question specifically, I think that you need to reframe it as your job is learning. And so you need to focus on habits and like this, it's a muscle. Like you have to just go at, like, I will fully admit I started down the Hypermill route, and it's the first cam system I've had to learn in a decade. And I hated it at first. Like the first few days I was like, I have made a massive mistake. I royally fucked this up, and I should have just stuck it out with Fusion and, you know, figured out other ways to go around it, you know, gotten complete or something. And I was like, and I had to do some serious, like, deep dive inside myself and reframe that as like, no, I'm excited. I get to learn again. There's all this new stuff to learn. And I think that if your job is an automation engineer and you're getting thrown all this new automation stuff all the time, you need to like focus on learning and learning habits and how to reframe that in your mind as exciting and not as a bear. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. You'll take better notes. You'll find what kind of note-taking strategies work best for you so that you can learn stuff. You will find, I find for like learning new things, finding the common threads and the analogies between the old and the new system is how I learn best. And not even analogies between the same systems, but between other systems that I've worked in. And saying like, oh, this is similar to this that I've seen before. And like the more similarities between the new thing I'm learning and stuff I've already done, the less daunting that task becomes for me. It's like, oh, this is not new. It's just like a reframing of the stuff that I already know. Right.
Also to that point is like, if you're constantly dealing with new shit, I'm pretty sure that your employer or whoever is like very aware that this is brand ass new technology and like is going to give you some grace in the rat race of it all. And like, there's just no way that they could expect you to like pick up something brand ass new. And like, I mean, it is daunting, always daunting, but I would imagine that you have something there that's like, oh yeah, we're fine. We understand that you don't know this. Right. And that you can like bring it in as you need to.
Yeah, hopefully they understand that. That was something that I made clear to my last boss is I you know, when I moved into engineering at my last job, I told my boss like within the first week or so, I was like, listen, like some days you're going to see me just sitting there at my desk, not really doing anything. And it's like, that's just thinking time. Like sometimes I just need a process to like make this is all new stuff. I'm developing new processes or fixing new problems to old processes. Sometimes you just got to think. Like there is a thinking phase to all this stuff, and it might be 5 minutes or it might be like 45 minutes sometimes that I just need to like think before I act. And I promise you, you know, if I'm daydreaming, it's just to like get more focused downstream to work on this, and it's not that I'm just not doing anything.
Right.
So all right. So I told him that we may or may not answer this question depending on how spicy we're feeling today. But Baltic Blades asked, would love to hear more about why you dislike Titan apart from him being a hype machine. I think I missed the episode with the beef. And I think this was in reference to you saying that you had said something on chips and tips and it got cut out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you missed it. Everybody missed it because it was like way too intense. And it's like, it's mostly just like, there's obviously value there from like educational tools and shit like that. But the other side of it is just breeding a bunch of fucking like also hype beasts that like want to run shit like way too fucking fast and don't understand why they can't achieve like certain results from a guy who's using like free machines and like free tools and not making real fucking parts, you know? Is like, hey, when I'm trying to make real parts, I'm like struggling. When I'm doing like Titan does it or whatever, and it's like, dude, like use your fucking head, man. It's like it's good, like in the sense of like being able to like bring people into the industry. Like he's fine, and like he's built a pretty good team around him with like Like, well, I guess Donnie's gone now, but
yeah, such a bummer.
Which is a super big bummer. But like, and there's like some good content there. Like some of it is just like for me, just like the most cringe shit in the world. And it's like, God, get over yourself. But it's like, I don't know. It's like, it is, it's whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's annoying sometimes. Like I said, like the dude did fucking snow angels and chips and caught himself on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, you can't acknowledge the bad without the good. Like he is doing great for the industry in terms of overall recognition of what manufacturing is. He's gotten, you know, hundreds of thousands of eyeballs on the trade that people never would have seen probably. Some really great content. I still send people to do all the Titan like 1M stuff when they were learning Fusion. I think that it's probably the most comprehensive training that's out there.
Right.
But also, I hate the hype beast stuff. I hate that like anything he's using that day is the best thing out there. And there's no acknowledgement that everything in manufacturing has a downside. And there's no acknowledgement of that. Like, oh, I'm going to push synergy. And it's like, well, you just pushed synergy on a bunch of people who ran Haas, and now all the zinc is fucking getting eaten away and causing issues. You just like, you're pushing, you know, all these expensive tools and stuff that like, they're good, but like, I don't know, should you buy 10 grand in shunk, or should you buy like a single lang plate and be okay in your small machine, your mini mill?
Also putting out fucking videos that are like, you know, maybe it's not a bad idea to like run so hard you go through a fucking tool per part, because then you'll be able to make parts that much faster. It's like, fuck off. That's never good advice. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah, buy these Kennametal tools that you can just run a fucking part, like a tool per part. It's like, dude, shut up. That's crazy. That's crazy advice. That's never good advice. Like, come on.
And I think at the end of the day, the thing that really bugs me about him is that he has garnered so much trust from so many people while being so untrustworthy. Like I understood it when he was like, oh man, America first, we're using Haas. Great. You know, we're using Fusion. And like his most recent video on Emco, it was like, oh, well now, you know, we're using Italian made machines, but in America to bring American manufacturing back. And it's just like, whatever the flavor of the week, whoever's paying him the most is now the best machine out there. Like he's nuked so many relationships with so many companies that it's very frustrating. And like, especially with all the Sile stuff, you know, importing them, but also not supporting them and not really being the importer and just being the face of it. Like more or less the marketing wing of Sile USA is from what I gather. I just don't like that. I find it very dishonest, and it's ugly advertising for me. And that's what I really don't like.
I agree. Yeah. That is well said.
Thanks.
Well said.
Yeah. All right. More technical question from Matt. He said, if we haven't already recorded, we haven't. He's interested on our take on coolant and coolant chillers. He's got a new Matsura, and he's noticing parts coming out oversized, larger aluminum parts that have long cycle time. He's guessing that the coolant is heating up and the part is growing.
Yeah. I mean, this immediately made me think of, again, like the waveguide guys, because I spent so much time with them, and they also have Matsuras, and what they ended up doing, because like the parts are so thermally sensitive, is they have like a whole shop. They have a central coolant chilling system, which is really wild. And the reason that they did that, because they were inside the shop at first, but they also like they generated with all the machines and the chillers themselves, they generated enough heat in the building that it didn't matter. Like now you're like, they were heating up everything. And so like, I mean, coolant chillers are like anything that gets your shit more thermally stable is good.
So he mentioned like it's 100 microns over 370 millimeters that he's seeing growth, which sounds like it totally could be coolant related.
Especially if it's aluminum. Like aluminum, it's like a 10th per degree per cubic inch of growth or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So like, yeah, if it's growing, I mean, like, especially like you said, long runs, if the spindle's cranking, like you're just going to generate heat. And like, sometimes, yeah, you got to fucking cool your shit down. Like an easy test is like, just like monitor your coolant, like with a fucking heat gun from like Harbor Freight or whatever. And
he mentioned he was going to get a temp probe and check it out. Yeah. And I'll say at a past job I had, we were making production parts in aluminum that had like more or less like a 1.5 inch bore plus or minus 0.2, and we were boring them. And that machine was a Matsura with a coolant chiller. And one day I remember it was hooked up in a way that the coolant chiller could air out and not air out the machine. Oh. And so whoever was running it he came to me and was like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like this operation was usually so consistent that we would see like maybe 1/10 over the day of variation.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like wildly swinging 5/10 or 6/10.
Whoa.
And I go back and look, and yeah, the coolant chiller had shit the bed for some reason. I can't remember. Oh, it was a cool blaster from LNS, and it had like a manufacturing defect that had only just recently worn through. Like a wire from the inside had gotten trapped when they assembled the unit, and eventually rubbed through and shorted out the unit. And once we fixed that, it went back to completely fine.
Nice.
But I would highly recommend, Matt, if you're in a position where you can do that, look at a coolant chiller, because they work wonders.
Yeah. And like this is it's not a crazy suggestion, but like if you can run, like if you're having that much variation and a coolant chiller is like in the future, like warm up your machine to the point that your coolant is like just about once you have your probe and you know what it's going to be, warm up your machine to the point that your coolant is about the temperature it's going to be, and then start running there. So then you have the best chance at keeping it thermally stable.
Yeah. Or if you have long cycle times, push your finishing as far late in the program as you possibly can. Like if you can do it last, that's best.
Yeah.
And then it'll be thermally stable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question. All right. Yeah. Well, we did shop news and new things. I don't really have a ton of new stuff on my end. I mean, I've got a new spindle, which is great. Stoked about that one. Otherwise, not really a ton of new stuff. So let's do one cam metrology or business tip or trick that helped you this week.
I would say the two that like I got two is like the configurations. Like I found those pretty fucking sick to deal with in Fusion. I didn't fuck with them initially because like most Fusion like brand ass new things, it's kind of not worth. Not that's not worth it, but like they will inevitably be so fucking buggy that it's like this is trash and it's not going to be worthwhile to like go into like a quote unquote production environment, like where I'm going to do anything with the customer. So I just didn't really touch them for a long time, and getting into it now and seeing like you can do some like really interesting math things and tying stuff together, and like it's like, oh, if this configuration's live, then this number needs to be this, and like you're just like moving things around is like it's pretty like cakey to like do some like very interesting shit. I think it would be cooler if they had a manufacturing configuration where I can like kind of, this is a wild one, but like if I could on the fly, depending on the configuration, change the tool library that I'm using so that it's like I could have like a more universal template. But I mean, like that is hyper specific, you know? It's like between like a machine that has, for instance, Cat 40 Big Plus versus HSK 63A. That's like, oh, depending on the tool library that I'm using, it's going to use this tool instead of that tool. Is like, it's pretty deep.
That'd be amazing though.
Yeah, it'd be fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do that, so that's not a trick. And then just really like, I mean, container method stuff, and like, I mean, I did it in InventorCam, but it's like cool. But it's like applicable to like Fusion, which is like what most people who are listening to this would be using over Inventor, is like just being able to like do some like really trick shit with the timeline of things. So it's like, oh, if I drop the part in here, then I can get its like auto pattern. And like and like do shit, which I've done in the past, but like diving back into it again is like, it is incredibly useful if you're doing a lot of like strip milling or fixture work or whatever, to be able to like really populate shit like very quickly. And it's just like, it's a lot of setup, but it's cool. And it's like weird how it works, because you're like moving the timeline around in Fusion to like make it dial in or whatever. But
so I've got one tip for you on configurations, and I haven't used configurations very recently, so this might have been solved by now. But this was shared to me by Phil Mestenhauser, is that when you're creating configuration tables in Fusion, always make your first configuration a null configuration where everything is off.
Oh, interesting.
Because at least the last time I used it, you cannot, like, when you're reordering stuff in the configuration table, you can never drag above the first one on the table. And so if you end up wanting to reorder stuff top down and you don't use a null, you're going to have to redo every single line in your configuration table.
Right. So the way that I was doing it was kind of the exact opposite of that. But is kind of a similar idea where I would have the first configuration be everything was on.
Okay. Yeah. Either way. But like, as long as you have one that like is basically a placeholder.
Right. Yeah. But
configuration.
Yes, that was like one of the first things that I saw. I was like, because it's like, oh yeah, if I want the, like, I noticed that right away. And so I started doing it where the first one was like everything. So I could just like click it and then everything was on, and like, or whatever. But yes, agree completely. That's good.
Because that one has bit me before, where I've created configurations and then been like, oh, but I want a different state one on the map or on the thing. Like I want an additional initial one. And I'm like, cool. So now I've got 6 that I have to rename and repick the options on each one. And like, it just, it's like, it's one of those things that it's kind of dumb. Like it's not that big of a thing to complain about, but it also just sucks to have to do.
Yes. Completely agree.
Yeah. I don't know that I have another real one this week. Can't really think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been kind of out. Like all my cam stuff has been Hypermill too, so it's like kind of hyper specific.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it though. Well, what have you been researching this week?
It's just been ChatGPT shit, just like kind of fucking around with stuff like scheduling or whatever, just trying to like fucking dial in on how to do like what would be good ways to like organize my life, like per usual.
How do I make this work?
Right. Yeah. How do I quit fucking around? Yeah. Well, that's just kind of been it. Nothing really, like, it's been like the last couple of weeks have been like in Maryland or whatever. It's just been kind of like rehab, like training or whatever. So it's not a lot of like research driven stuff. It's just been kind of like doing the work more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say like 50% of my searches lately are like, is this normal for newborns?
Yeah.
Like this is weird. Newborns are weird. So that's been one fun thing. I mean, like just like but babies are weird, dude. Like they periodic breathe. So they'll breathe like super fast and then stop breathing and then start breathing again. And you're like, you not? Like I'm constantly worried about you.
You were scaring the shit out of me. Like, please.
Or like they'll, there's like baby acne. There's like, their skin will start like getting dry and peeling. And you're like, are they too dry or is this just normal? It's like, oh no, it's just normal.
Yeah.
So
too dry.
Well, you just like don't know.
The water?
You just don't know. You're like, it's, like just dealing with all of that stuff. Like, or like dealing with, when her like stump from her umbilical cord fell off. It's like, how do I care for this? I don't know. Yeah. I've never had to do this. Like, that's so a part of human that I've never had to deal with. So
you ate it, right?
Of course, yeah. I ate the rock.
Classic.
But then otherwise, it has been a lot of research into shop projects, like I said, I found an awesome hose reel company. Like I spent way too much on it that I shouldn't have, but it was American made, 10-year warranty, very, very nice. And like I was already going to spend $300 or $400 on one from Amazon that was made in China. And this one was like $480 or $500 and made in the US. And well, again, like if I'm going to spend $400, I might as well spend $500 and have one that has a 10-year warranty and doesn't suck. Because our current one we bought a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and it leaks like a sieve now. Like we have to put a bucket under where the hose attaches to the reel because it just drips like crazy while you're filling coolant.
That sucks.
Yeah. So I was doing a lot of research into that. The company is Eley, if anybody is curious, Eley. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I was doing a bunch of research into noise canceling headphones because it would be nice to have something when she just like won't stop crying, and I've done everything under the sun. I bought the Sony WH-1000XM4s, which is like the last generation one that everybody seems to prefer, and absolutely hate them. So I'm returning those, and now I've got to find a new option. Like people seem to love them, and I think maybe it just depends on the devices you connect them to. But my everyday headphones currently have been the bone conduction ones, the Shocks brand ones, and I love them. And they're way cheaper than these XM4s, and they switch between, like I usually have my computer and my phone connected, and they switch between those much better than the Sonys did. Yeah. The Sonys, they have like touch controls on the side. And for me, they just don't work. Like maybe 1 in 20 hits, I will get it to play and pause correctly. And I was like, I've spent enough on these that I'm not going to keep them if they're like this. Yeah. So it just kind of sucks because like all of the high end noise canceling headphones all have like very mixed reviews. Like the Bose ones are very mixed reviews. The newer Sonys, the XM5s, very mixed reviews. Bowers and Wilkins ones, very mixed reviews. Like I just can't find a good option for that. So I don't know.
James Servin got these.
The Apple ones?
Yeah, and he doesn't run, he's not an iPhone guy. He just got them. And he likes them. Maybe talk to him about that. Because like they are really nice. Like I like these a lot. They have like good longevity, and the transparency on them and the noise canceling is like really good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give them a shot because I want something, but I was trying not to go to like the newest generation of anything because like I think the Bose Ultras are $500. I think those are $500. Yeah, it's like I don't really need $500 headphones. Like,
I mean the Old Faithful is like just the in-ear ones, and then a fucking set of earmuffs over that. You know, that's what I do, and that's what I do in the shop is just put some fucking earmuffs on.
That's not a bad idea. I guess I could even try earplugs with the bone conduction headphones and just turn them up enough that like the conduction works. But yeah, I think that's about it on my end as far as research goes.
Cool. Yeah. This is good. This is fucking fun.
Dude, it was so good to catch up with you. I know we've been chatting and like we've even talked a few times over the month, but I have missed this for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been good.
Like, oh man, it's like when can I start bugging him about recording again?
I was very much feeling it, and I even thought about doing one at home, and I was like, but she's crying every now and again, and like I would have felt bad if like 3 times during the recording I had to get up and like change a diaper or do a 20-minute feed or something like that. It's like I'll just wait until I have a chance to go into the shop and record it. Hopefully everyone can see this podcast. We will see. That's the other thing I've been researching. I've been doing a ton of research on webcams, tripods, all that stuff, because the goal for the rest of the year is to start integrating more and more video. And I would really like both Zaps and my episodes, as well as the remote guests, to all be video. Weird stuff like the tripods. The one I bought you, I'm not a fan of. I found another one that I'm going to send you. What sucks is I have one at home, like a desktop tripod that I absolutely love. It's the best one I've bought, the best one I use, and the company just like stopped making it. It's like some Chinese brand called WeWatch, and like they have a massive one now, and they have a super tiny one, but the perfect one, it's not on their website anymore and is nowhere to be found.
I like this one for the. This is like, it's funny to bust this out, but it's like, I like this one, the Rode mic.
Oh yeah,
for the microphone is really nice. And then I have a different one that just like is much more compact and can extend. Like that's what I mean, I sent you a picture. That's what's like behind the laptop right now, holding the webcam. I mean, so far this setup is like cool, you know, because like this is the new mic that you're going to, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You posted that you bought 2 of these, and like, this is the first time I've ran it off just the USB, and it seems to work better this way, you know.
It sounds great.
It's so I'm pretty stoked about this whole thing. It seems like a really compact, like, I mean, I'm basically testing the setup that you're going to start sending out right now, and like this fucking webcam is crazy. It's so small.
It's insane. Like I cannot believe it looks great. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see. I guess everybody can write in and let us know how it looks, but I think it looks great. And it's relatively inexpensive, and it's so tiny. Like I cannot believe how tiny it is.
It's crazy. And I mean, unless something goes horribly wrong, like I think more or less this was like we were good boys on this podcast, and like probably won't need to cut anything. So it should be like more or less like just straight through without edits. Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no talk of people that we need to cut or anything like that. So.
Yeah, that hasn't happened at all.
No, that would never happen. What are you talking about? Yeah, so hopefully you all will see this one on Spotify or on YouTube. And big thanks to new Patreon member Matt. Really appreciate you joining, because now it lets me send both mics and a webcam to people. And hopefully this all worked out. We're trying out a new recording software as well. So, big fingers crossed. I mean, like, not that it matters on my end too much, but like the neat thing seeing this over Squadcast is like you can see the uploaded that it is actually fucking working. It is kind of huge, which has kind of bit us like a couple times, you know? Yeah.
Like the last one was very weird.
That one was rough, really rough to edit on my end.
Right. Yeah. And so like seeing this is like, the layout's really nice. It seems to be like just as good, or not, if not better than Squadcast so far. Yeah,
big thanks to Justin and Jem from Parts Department, the podcast. If it looks good and sounds good, big thanks to them. If everything goes tits up and it's not working, you can go blame them. So thanks, guys. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Zap. And I will be back next week.